Hello everyone, welcome to the second video in this ZBrush course. In this lesson we're going to learn how to use the basic brushes to make the bust of our dragon. So let's start from scratch again to revise the things we learned in the previous lesson. So close the lightbox by pressing the comma. Go to the tool palette and select the sphere. Drag it into the viewport. Press Edit Object and turn the tool into a 3D polymesh. Activate the views to place the sphere on a front view, the view on the Z-axis, which is the blue one. Now I'm going to explain the main brushes. The first brush I want to show you is one of ZBrush's default brushes, the standard brush. The shortcut for this is BST. The brush works adding and subtracting with a clean and smooth stroke. As I explained in the previous lesson, to change between adding and subtracting, press Alt. The second brush is the Dam standard. You can access it by pressing BDS. What this brush does is make lines as if we were dragging a stick or a toothpick through the model. If we press Alt, we get the opposite effect. This is thanks to the alpha that this brush has. The third brush is the Claybuildup. The shortcut is BCB. This brush is similar to the standard, but thanks to the alpha it has, it generates a much harder volume. It's the most common brush to shape volumes. The fourth brush is the Trim Dynamic. You can press B, T and D. This brush is very specific. It's used for flattening and generates flat sides. If we invert the brush, then we get a flat volume that goes outwards. With this brush, we can see the use of the alphas very well. If we put a square in the alpha of this brush, then the volume it generates will be a square. Let's select the standard again to see this a bit better. If we use the alpha of 3 lines, then when we paint, we get 3 lines. The fifth brush we'll see is the Move, which you can access by pressing B, M and V. This is another special brush. It basically deforms the geometry and allows us to move it however we want to shape the volumes. This is the only brush that you can't invert. If you invert it, what happens is that you generate a volume from the normals of the polygons that we're working on. In other words, imagine that we have a polygon and we trace a line that's perpendicular to the polygon we have selected. That line would be the normal vector of the polygon, and the Move uses that vector to deform the geometry in that direction if you invert the brush. Lastly, we have the Smooth brush. To access this brush, just press Shift and when you do, the color of your brush will turn blue. This brush smoothens any details we make, and we can even erase details that we don't want. Now let's see another function of ZBrush, which is Ctrl-Z. In most programs, Ctrl-Z is to undo an action. In ZBrush, it's the same, but it also has a black bar on top. This bar is the action's history. Here you can see all the actions you made on your tool, and with the gray button you can go back and forwards in the history to see all the changes you made and continue from whichever point you need to. Then, when we want to adjust the tool, it will ask for permission to erase all the history in front of it. Let's see the last function in this lesson. For this, activate the views and place our model in the front view, so that's the blue one. We're going to activate the symmetry, meaning we're going to work with symmetry on our model so the volumes are created simultaneously on 2 points. We can press the shortcut X or go to the transform menu on the top and activate symmetry. Now, when we paint, we get the message asking us if we want to erase the history, but as we're at the beginning of the history, we'll click Yes. With this, we can now start to shape the basic volumes of our dragon bust with just the Move brush. Put the bust aside to work on both sides at the same time. It's important to know that when we're shaping the main volumes, we should work with a bigger brush rather than a small one. This way we can avoid dents. Gradually, we'll get more volume, and remember to constantly rotate your model so you can see how it looks from different angles. One of the most important things when we start any sculpting project is to have plenty of references to hand, anatomical and illustrations too, whatever we find useful to develop our design. Bear in mind that our model doesn't have many polygons. It probably won't be completely flat. You'll be able to see the different sides of the bust. This is necessary at the beginning, as achieving clean and defined volumes with a high number of polygons is quite complicated, and we might end up with really deformed faces. We should make a simple shape and mark the main features, like the eye sockets, the shape of the mouth, or the width of the head in different positions. If we start with a good shape, we'll end up with a great sculpture at the end. The detail is something you need to do at the end of the process. It's the easiest part. The most important part is to achieve a clean and well-defined shape. Okay, this basic shape is good, so let's save the model to continue working on it later. So go to Save in the Tool palette and save it in a ZTL format. ZBrush recognizes this as a Z tool. So we leave it here for now, and we'll carry on with our bust in the next lesson. I'll see you there.